is not only a dictator, it's also only one party, only one TV, no internet, only one radio, only one, but everything only one version. So this is Cuba, and this is have been in the last 53 years. But the opposition in Cuba is not allowed. So we're talking about not official opposition, but they say that we are criminals, and they say also that we are mercenaries, and the CIA pay us or all that. But this is good, because when they say that, it's like a medal. It means that you're doing good work. But Misceláneas de Cuba, our organization, is like miscellaneous in Spanish means mix from Cuba. And our organization is like a platform. It's an open platform, and I mean when I say that Misceláneas de Cuba is an open platform, I mean any special party or ideology. Maybe our ideology is democracy. This is what we want. When you have democracy, then we can discuss about how to conduct our country in different forms. But now what we need in Cuba is democracy. And this is the first principle of our organization. If you are from left, okay, center, okay, and right, okay. Not extremist in any way, but because what we want is the participation of all the democratic forces in the democratization of Cuba using peaceful means. This is very important for us. So another organization means too that you don't need to be born in Cuba to integrate, to be a part of our organization, because we think that the democratization of Cuba is the democratization of one part of the world. So Cuba is in the world. We need the democracy everywhere. This is very important. Then, in our organization, you are welcome to present projects. Just projects. And the goal of this project is, as I say, democratization of Cuba. So we have a project, and this is the old one. The project, the name is Misceláneas de Cuba, and this is a newspaper. How we're working is in direct contact with the democratic forces in Cuba. When I say democratic forces, I not mean only political activists. I mean human beings. I think that we are democratic in our nature. So when whatever people, common people who want to say something about Cuba, from Cuba, they can send us mails, pigeons, whatever, with because sometimes it's a weird way to reach Sweden from Cuba. You don't know. So it's a very interesting ways. I'm being surprised today. So how people do. So they send us information from Cuba and from all, principally, because this is we want with the Misceláneas de Cuba newspaper, we want amplify the signal from Cuba. Their voice, they don't have they have voice, but they don't have the access to use the invoices. So this is what they send to us, and we publish in an article, notice what they say to us in our main website. The website is miscellaneousdecuba.net. We don't have internet now, so it's, but I can show you later. This is the main site. But every second month, nice with this camera, so I feel like the big brother, but it's okay, big brother. I'm little brother. So, what is it now? We have every second month, so we print this newspaper, a selection of the newspaper. We print and send them back to Cuba.
But now we are asking for it all. Now we are making every week. And
Yeah, but this is because we work back every second month. We send. I'm talking about 125 pages, so to Cuba, and they can distribute in the neighborhoods, because the people normally in Cuba don't have access to internet, and many times people say in Cuba not exists internet, and this is not right. They have internet in Cuba. The problem in Cuba with internet is the access to internet. The government doing intelligence movements. The thing is that they say from 2009 is legal internet in Cuba. We have internet in Cuba, and they organize international forums in Latin America, for example, about internet in Cuba and Twitter, but who have access to internet? No one. So it's like, this is what they do. It's politics. And for example, they pay people from the government, official activists, you know what I mean? And these people is the forces against us, against the free activists in internet. But they have support from the government, so they can tweet, they can interact, they can have their blogs. The blogs don't be attacked. So it's But how the activists in Cuba doing, for example?
Joanna Sanchez.
Joanna Sanchez.
Yeah,
Joanna
the
Sanchez.
Twitter. Is she like official?
No. She is the very non-official, unofficial Twitter from Cuba. Joanna Sanchez was the beginner. May I say? Not just only her, but she was one of the first. She have her blog is Generation G, because in the 80s, everyone in Cuba, the name was with G from the beginning. In the 70s was, for example, Russia's names. In the 70s, Vietnamese names. This is like, no? But what I can explain, for example, what they doing is they tweet, not like you or me. They tweet to a telephone number, they send a message. And from this telephone from this number, tweets. They, and every SMS message is cost $1.
It's a lot of money in Cuba.
It's
a lot of money in Cuba.
Very
expensive
in Cuba, because we have for example, a master from the University of Havana earned around 400 pesos. So you know how many dollars you have. And if a bottle of oil is about $5. So you know if to eat or cooking food. You know, this is a problem. It's a big problem.
The big problem in Cuba.
It's a big problem, but you know.
You know the situation of her because she's very, very known all over the world, and I guess the Castro regime is trying to do something. Or
Yeah, they're doing, but we continue. It's like here the friends from Russia, so you know. This is I think it's the thing with Joanny Sanchez, Orlando Luis Pardo, Luis Felipe Roja, or many others like us. This is personal, you know, because this is about our rights. So you can live without your freedom. Freedom is the most important, I think. And they've been arrested every time. In Cuba, in every street is two police, one at the beginning, one at the end, in the other side. And when you go in, they say your legitimation. Do you present your legitimation? And you continue, and this police have said that the other police, and when you come into the other corner, the other police say, your legitimation say, that you, so when I show, so this is the problem in Cuba, the secret police or the Department of Security Police, they can pick up you, and they don't need to explain anything to no one, you know, because they are over the police, they are over the military, they are over everyone, they are in contact with the government. They can take you, and they doing that all the time, but the bloggers and the Twitter, the oppositor, not only the blogger, the other groups who working not so with a special big green revolution colors, and you know, and he's there all the time, but officially he left. After him is the brother, Raúl Castro. He's a devil too. In the official power, because they are not the power in Cuba, the power in Cuba is the people of Cuba, but the official, the recognized, the national representative, the United Nations, these people, they are 10 old, very old, like I don't know, when the one died, the second take over, and the other, and so it's and this is, as you understand, this is contrary what dictatorship is. So, with our efforts, I mean ours, you do, with our efforts, and the history, and the economic crisis, we're going to change the world. So, but we must be prepared, because the thing is what's coming next. You know, after Fidel Castro, after Lukashenko, what can we do? And we think in this way now. Yeah, we do now what we must. But we must to planning what's coming next. Because if we don't do that, it's coming to the history coming to repeat again. We must change the structures from now. So in the future we can have a new institution which represents us. No? So it's, this is the end. Doors open. So you can ask me.
Okay, mira,
Yeah.
I don't have a question, but I have a very brief comment. I come from Serbia. We also had a sort of dictatorship until 2000. And the dictator was gone, he was arrested, he died in jail. But things are still, after 12 years, not quite normal. They are much better than during the dictatorship time, but they are still not normal. And the process of transition, of democratization, was very great. It was very meandering, it was full of challenges. So one should prepare for that in times before it comes. Even during the dictatorship, I would strongly support your view that people should prepare now, be ready, think about what next. How this life after the change should look like in our view.
Thank you for your words, because I think that a dictatorship is like a boot on a mine when this lift is coming to explode. Because this is like your people, our people. We have the feeling that we are friends and we are equal and we have not problems and we are humans and we are one people, one nation, and, but this is not. This is really not.
That's
We
right.
are different kinds of people. It's a many problem like racism in Cuba, because the communist propaganda, or not the communist propaganda, because I don't know, communism is a little bit, but the Fidel Castro's propaganda, they say that in Cuba, racism doesn't exist, and this is not true. And this is a big problem, because the black people, mulat, Chinese, because we have our mix is Chinese, Spanish and Nigerians in the main. So if you are white in Cuba, so you are better than if you are Chinese. But if you are Chinese, you are better than your nigger. But if you are nigger with this kind of hair, you are better than the other niggers. And this is I'm saying that, but this is a big problem. Because now, in the opposition, in Cuba, I don't want to say opposition no more. Because we are not the opposition, we are the position. Because we propose things. The opposition is the government. They oppose whatever you do. So they are the real opposition. We must to use a new language in order to break down.
Damn.
Rock and roll. It's like, for example, I'm Cuban, but I'm not a salsa dancer, because this is not my thing. My thing is rock and roll, and this was a big problem in Cuba, because if you like rock, you like the American language, you like the language of reality, to communicate with the enemy. So this is many problems there, and the history is not forgotten. And so people remember, and people remember and wait.
So sorry for taking the floor for the second time.
It's okay. Help me.
The point might be interesting. I'm working in Belgrade for the Center for Euro-Atlantic Studies, and we are dealing with the reform of the security sector in Serbia and establishing civic control over armed services, including secret services.
Mm-hmm.
Many secret services in Serbia are inherited from the former age of dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
Because the change was peaceful. The change was not a revolution in 2000. A part of these secret services has just abandoned the dictator and embraced democracy. But they never actually accepted democratic ways. They reorganized. People did not lynch them. people did not kill them if there was no civil war. That is, on one hand, very good, because if you have a civil war, then you have decades of hatred. We had a civil war during World War II, and then we had decades of hatred between participants
Yes.
and their children
Oh.
of the civil war. That's what we wanted to avoid in 2000, and we made it to avoid it. But on the other hand, we got another bad consequence, and that was that secret services stayed as they are. They reorganized, and they undermined the new democratic order, and they are still doing it. It's very difficult to tackle that.